It is week 13, day 61 of 20. It was quite the weekend. Starting on Friday, I ended up doing DSA work. So I was doing a LeetCode that I was supposed to do the day before, daily temperatures. After that, I was not expecting to, but I had a bunch of jobs coming to my inbox, so I applied to those, and I sent off 3 job apps on Friday. And then I spent the rest of the day in the office sprinting to the finish to get the last features finished for the front end, which is now complete, which I'm super excited about. I got to show it to the co-founder and the founder. They were really stoked about the progress and seeing it come to life, so that's really cool. This week, or today, I started very early today with a tech hike through Laguna, and that was in OC. That was a really great tech meetup, and I actually met a senior engineer who offered to refer me into a position. It's for embedded engineering and mobile engineering, which I'm not super skilled in, so that might not turn into something, but it's still really cool to just see opportunities like that popping up from networking. Also on Friday night, went to the Santa Monica tech meetup, met a bunch of people as well, and I met someone that I might be offering them a job, which is really interesting. So just networking has been really productive, really useful, and so that's really amazing to see all the opportunities that are coming out of those events. Today, I started off with data structures and algorithms, going through 3 LeetCodes, 2 from the last 4 weeks. So that was going through tries, building a try class from scratch, binary search a second time, and one more, I think. It was the one that I did on Friday. And then after that, I started getting into job searching. I created a profile on Y Combinator, and I'm looking for work. I've spent an hour already, just kind of looking around the web for positions, but a lot of them just haven't worked out. I'm going to be doing that for another maybe hour. I'm trying to get out at least 5 or 6 jobs today, job apps. And then I'm going to try to start my system design practice tonight sometime, make a plan for that starting this week, maybe 30 minutes a day, keep it pretty easy. And then lastly, I want to get into the MVP, start working on the back end, and wrapping up. This is the final week for that. So yeah, just a lot. But that is day 61, and I will see you all tomorrow. It is day 62 of 20. Last night, I got out 2 more job apps for a total of 5 job apps. Spent the entire evening playing Matchmaker, connecting the CEO of the startup with an angel investing community, connecting the senior engineer that I met on the tech hike to another senior engineer who's an Android mobile developer. I applied to those 2 jobs and sent that off to the senior engineer to refer me into those positions potentially. They're QA roles, so not a perfect match, but my skill set definitely is a very good fit for that. Then I spent a little bit of time connecting the CEO to a product designer for the startup again. So did not get to system design. I did not get to the MVP. That was basically the whole night. Then this morning, got into DSA work, working through 2 problems from the last 4 weeks, kind of just doing review, second cycle of those concepts for tries and merge sort. After that, I got 2 job apps and spent about an hour and a half going through 5 job apps in total. And now I'm heading off to the office to spend the day in the office working on the MVP, working with the CEO for the angel investing, for hiring this new person potentially, and then getting some details for the MVP. So it's been really busy. I probably will not get to system design again and a couple other things, but just doing as much as I can within the time that I have, and then I'll get to everything else the next day, I guess. Anyway, that's the start of day 62, and I will see you soon. It's the second half of the day. It has been quite involved. In the office, spent most of the time getting CEO connected to the angel investing community, vetting this product designer. I did get referred in officially by the senior designer into the other tech position that I applied for. Tomorrow's an investor call, so trying to get this MVP finished, which I did. The Tech Pack preview function was the last thing with the cherry on top. So the CEO is going to be taking the MVP and actually showing it off in the investor call to hopefully secure funding. That funding could potentially get me hired and paid. So an incredible day. Still have a little bit of work to do, but yeah, it's 1 a.m. So gonna stop here and I will check back in tomorrow and give more details. It is day 63 of 20. Today it was all work, 4 classes, 4 hours of class, plus preparing for the class, follow-up after the class, so probably more than that, probably 5-6 hours of work. So not much done in terms of software dev or coding. I did do a live session and we went through a LeetCode, half the LeetCode. I actually was on a interview call with JobBot, an automated job positioning service, and I don't know if it's a real service or not, but I just used it as an opportunity to do some behavioral prep. So I did that and the DSA problem, rest of the day working. I need to apply to jobs still, hopefully 5, and get a little bit of system design in. I probably will not touch the MVP since I got a bunch of work done on it yesterday. The investor call went well from what I heard from the CEO, and we're going to hear back by Thursday to see how that panned out. Did a little bit of work on the LeetCode. It's so easy. I'm just kind of brain dead and not making any progress, so I'm going to tackle it tomorrow. It's like 1 line of code to fix. So I have 6 job apps, and that is the end of the day, and I will see you all tomorrow. It is day 64 of 20. Started today off with DSA, going through LeetCode from the last 4 weeks, which was design a hash map, easy, but doing it in TypeScript and just trying to recall it from memory, all the data structures and process. Then finishing the LeetCode from yesterday that I was too brain dead to get through. Did that this morning, again in TypeScript. Another LeetCode easy, but just work on the basics. After that, got into job applications, then I had a bunch of stuff in the middle of the day, classes. There was a tech event in Long Beach, so I went to that for a little bit, got to meet some people. Then after that, finished off the job applications. It's 10:30 already. I want to do so much more, but I don't have basically anything left to give. So I will try to get a system design or maybe touch the MVP, but it's probably going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's a light day, I hope, and I will be working the weekend again, so Thursdays and Fridays. But that is Wednesday, and I will see you all tomorrow. It's day 65 of 20. Started today off tired and finished the day tireder. Started with DSA, going through LeetCode 198 House Robber. Spent today just working on the approach, writing just pseudocode, realizing that greedy algorithms don't work, sliding window doesn't work, it does have to be dynamic programming with Memo. So tomorrow I'm probably going to implement that. After that, got into a little bit of job apps, and then spent the middle part of the day, other things, going to the gym, classes, work again. Classes are kind of starting up in full again, so it's really taking away from my technical deep focus that I want to put towards coding, but I'll get it done when I get it done. After classes, I finished applying to jobs. I got through 5 job apps. Over lunch, I did a little bit of system design reading. I went through Design YouTube, and unfortunately still passive learning, not doing any active learning yet. And tonight, I have like an hour left in me, so I'm going to try and make a plan for building out the backend root API for generating this PDF through either Playwright or through Puppeteer, and I should be able to do that tonight or tomorrow. It should be a really quick thing. That's basically the second to last feature to implement for the MVP. But that is day 65. Tomorrow is the weekend, but I'm still going to be working again, and I'm going to be meeting with the senior product designer to have lunch. And then that evening, there's also a tech meetup in Long Beach that I'm hosting. LA Techies, we're on Meetup if you are in the local area. And that will be the weekend, and I will see you all next week on Sunday. It is day 66 of 20. Started today off with technical challenges, going through LeetCode 322, which is a LeetCode from the last 4 weeks, doing a review on CoinChain to dynamic programming iteratively. Then I went through House Robber 1, looking at the recursive solution, which I worked this question last week as well. On Friday, I went through House Robber for the first time, did a meeting with a product designer, and then was in the office talking with the CEO and the co-founder about what's happening next with funding. Still waiting to hear back about that. And so the MVP for the setup is currently on hold. I'm going to be switching over to an open source project to work on the back end to keep building out my portfolio and my resume. So that was Friday. Friday night, I hosted the event in Long Beach. That was really fun. My voice is still gone. And then today, after DSA work, I got into 5 job apps. Spent most of today working, 3 hours of class. And then I started looking at the new open source project I'm going to start working on next. And I'm going to do some system design reading, passive, just getting through Design Google Drive. So that's going to be the rest of the night. But honestly, really tired. I've been working 2 weekends in a row, and so this week's going to be lighter. I think more soft skill stuff, maybe redoing my wardrobe for the second time, going through and editing the resume, things like that, and not too heavy technical, but we'll see. Tomorrow, probably going to take off mostly and just see how I'm feeling. But that is day 66, and I will see you all tomorrow. With the job market being so crazy as it is, I kind of got the itch today to just start a new venture, a new company. So I signed up for a bunch of founder VC events in February. And I've also been telling everyone that I know that I'm looking for work. And so my landlord actually sent me some IT positions to look at as well. So I was also talking with him today. Day 67 of 20. Honestly, today, more exhausted than yesterday. I guess when I think about it, I'm off of a 6-week sprint for the MVP. Last week was 3 networking events, one of which I hosted, and tutoring and work has started back up in full with multiple 3-4 hour days. So it's just been a lot in a short period of time. But I'm not going to stop despite the temptation, and today I decided to just do a little bit less. Spent the first half of today actually just going through and shopping, getting some sun, getting some walking in, mental health check, redoing the business casual wardrobe right now. Then the second half of the day from like 5 until 9:30, I was in the office and working through data structures and algorithms. So I did LeetCode 198, House Robber, going through the iterative solution and the recursive solution with Memo and then with states. And after DSA, I got into just 2 job apps today. After that, I got into system design. I finished the last chapter in the book, Designing Google Drive. And I really want to start an active system design practice this week, if possible. I know I tried last week, but I'm going to really try to do it this week. And I also want to get into this quick little tutorial on building agentic AI systems, because I want to really improve my AI workflow. And I also talked with the CEO while I was in office, and they do have stuff for me to build. So I probably will start later this week, maybe on like Friday, getting into some back-end stuff for them. So that's today. Still pretty full, even when I'm taking a day off. But that's day 67, and I will see you all tomorrow. It's day 68 of 20. Started today off by sleeping in, catching up on sleep, just resting a little bit. Very first thing after that was jumping into DSA. We went through a review of all the work on House Robber over the weekend, going through iterative with states and recursive with Memo, and then that discussion led into prefix sums. So we then went into LeetCode, I want to say 238 to do prefix sums, which is actually prefix product. And then we solved that before it wrapped up. And after that, it was class and then the gym and then more shopping. I'm going to try to go shopping at least once each day this week. to fill out the rest of the wardrobe. After that, I had class, and then I got into AI workflows, agentic AI workflows, looking at some ways to automate version control and documentation. Those things were kind of time intensive when I was building the MVP of the last 6 weeks, so I want to automate that if possible. And then after that, I got into system design, watching someone go through a system design interview, mock interview, just to get what the general scope is for that. I also signed up for the group sessions, live sessions for system design. Again, I'm just trying to get a good sense of it. I don't think I'm going to see a system design interview anytime soon, but at a startup you have to do everything, so I want to be prepared in that way. And after that, I applied to 5 jobs, a lot of them through startups locally here in Los Angeles for education companies, so looking at ed tech companies again. I feel like that might give me a little bit of a leg up. And that is the whole day. After the gym, my energy came back, so whatever that fatigue spell was, it finally lifted. So hopefully the rest of the week will be pretty productive. Not going to code, just going to try to do AI stuff this week and system design, and then start coding this weekend. But that is day 68. I will see you all tomorrow. Day 69 of 20. Started today off with getting a call back from a recruiter, not for a tech position, but for an after-school coding teaching position. I missed them today, so I'm going to try and reach out and call them tomorrow. The downside, of course, with teaching positions is that it takes time away from building coding skills, building a resume, job searching, so it's kind of a catch-22. You make some money, you extend your runway, but then you move slower and learn less skills. That would get you into a new job. So that was the start of the day. After that, I had a bunch of things to take care of in the middle of the day, and I went shopping, make sure to go to at least 2 stores today, picked up a new piece. Then when I got back, I had 2 classes. Then I got into data structures and algorithms, and I got through a leak code from the last 4 weeks, which was CoinChange doing the recursive using memoization. Then I redid the code from yesterday, which was prefix products, just kind of optimizing it by changing one line. After that, I got into job applications, went through 5 job apps. Then I got into AI workflows, trying to learn more about Copilot and GitHub. So I learned today about the instruction file, and setting that up, learning about prompts. So if you're kind of repeating the same commands in Copilot, you can basically automate those. And then I also watched a couple of videos on kind of higher level approaches to AI workflows, things like PRDs, and making sure that the AI can always see that as it's writing code. So just doing a little bit of that today. After that, I got into actual active system design practice. So I'm on Hello Interview, junior level, just design a URL shortener and getting used to how a system design interview goes. So that was that. I did a bunch of other things that I can't remember, but that's kind of the big high level things. And if I remember anything else, I will add it into the little text box on the screen. Anyway, that is day 69, and I will see you all tomorrow. It is day 70 of 20. Started today off with DSA in a live session with a group. We went through more prefix sums, solving LeetCode, weighted something. I'll put it on the screen. I solved the brute force, then I solved it the efficient way, actually using the prefix sum. After that, I got into system design. Actually, I did that first, and I spent 15 minutes. I'm going to do 15 minutes a day moving forward on system design. Still going through design Bitly, or a URL shortening service, and today I got into the components, the server, and the database, how that works, and then what hash function to use to shorten a URL. After that, I got right into job applications. I sent off 5 job apps, took about an hour, hour and a half. It's kind of crazy to be spending so much time sending off job apps. I feel like I could be spending an hour, hour and a half building skills and learning things and literally anything else. But more job apps is more rejections, so that's one of the upsides, downsides of all the job applications. After that, gym, went shopping to get more pieces, went thrifting today, 2 places, and got another piece to add to the wardrobe, which is awesome. And then I had class, and then I went to a tech coding coffee event, and talked to some engineers, someone who got a job within the last year. They were giving me some tips and advice on how to land a job. They were talking about actually working on campaigns. So this is a midterm year. If you're in data science, it could be a really good way to get your foot in the door. So I'm going to also look down that avenue, see what's there. Didn't really do any coding on the MVP. I did do a little bit of prompts for AI workflows inside of Copilot, and so that was kind of cool to see. I wanted to do some MVP work tonight, but it probably won't happen, and so I'm going to connect with this engineer and talk about some of those job opportunities. And then probably in office tomorrow, I'll actually get into the MVP work and then starting a new 6-week sprint to do the back end. Yesterday I talked about finances, so mostly financing this through working part-time as a tutor, and then I have a bunch of 0% credit cards, so I'm putting everything onto those. I'm probably going to go up to about 15K or maybe 20K in debt, and then hopefully I'll pay that off with a sign-up bonus or a 6-figure salary. My cost of living in LA is actually really low. It's like $40,000 per year. So if I land anything in the software industry that's like 80K and above, then I'll easily be able to pay that down pretty quickly. So that's kind of the process for financing this. There was something else I wanted to talk about, but we're kind of running out of time. This has to be 3 minutes tops. But that's day 70 of 20. Anything that I didn't talk about, I will put into the text on the screen, and I will see you all next week. Day 71 of 20. Started today off with DSA, as always, going through coin change, still doing DFS. I'm like cycle 2, basically, just trying to get really good with dynamic programming, make it make sense in the recursive approach. After that, I did LeetCode 57, which is working with intervals. And then after that, I got to system design, 15 minutes, working through designing a URL shortener, focusing today just on the hashing function, base62 and MD5, and making sure the hash is unique and there's no collisions, and reading through this book actually to kind of get more understanding of the hashing function. After that, I went right into applying to jobs. I got through 6 job apps, and that was the morning. Over the weekend, I went to the networking event in Santa Monica for just a little bit amount of time and met people, and went to a dinner with the organizers for the networking event. Friday I was in the office, but we didn't really get much work done this week. It was kind of like a family emergency, so that kind of took up the bulk of the day. That was the weekend. I might be forgetting some things, but then today, basically right now, it's like 10 p.m. Getting into the MVP again. We do not have funding yet. We're still waiting on that, but I want to get backend experience, so I'm going to go ahead and keep building out the backend. There are some things that need to be done. There's a pricing calculator that needs to pull in all the data from the manufacturers to basically give customers an estimate of the price right at the design page. So I'm going to do that. Making Excel into a database, which is going to be hosted on cloud, maybe AWS or Azure, if I'm pronouncing that right. So there's a whole bunch of back-end work to do. That's the takeaway. And today's going to be the first day of that. In the next 6 weeks, it's going to be another 6-week sprint to basically build out the whole back-end and start thinking about the version 2 of this app, which is going to be a lot more complex with user profiles and really, all my words are failing me today, but all of the customization that customers can do on a garment. But that is day 71, and I will see you all tomorrow. Day 72 of 20. Started today out with DSA, as always. I wrapped up LeetCode 57, which was at an interval. Then after that, I got into system design. I wrapped up the design of URL shortener. And then I bought Hello Interview Pro for the whole year to get into the next one, which was design Dropbox. And after that, I got into 6 job apps. I rejected my first rejection. I got a rejection for a position here locally in Los Angeles that was for fashion tech, which I'm working on a fashion tech startup. The tech stack was like a 1-for-1 match. The only thing I was probably missing is like years of experience, but honestly, if I had those, I would have been overqualified. So I was like, respectfully, I declined the rejection. So we'll see if that works or not. After that, I headed into the office for the rest of the day. Worked with the CEO to pick a database technology tech stack for their internal systems, their external systems. It was really cool because it basically pulled on all of my system design experience from kind of reading through the system design book and then doing the active practice. So sharding and horizontal and vertical scaling, load balancers and caches and Redis and all of these things. Basically helps me know the vocabulary, the context to pick a couple services and recommend them to him. He still has to go through and design the backend and know exactly what the data schema is going to look like before I can actually build it. But that was really cool to see an instant application of all that work in practice. After that, I got into working on a production scale version of the PDF Tech Pack Explorer. So basically taking a web page, exporting it to PDF. That's going to happen through Railway and Puppeteer, and looks very interesting. It's probably going to take most of the week to do. So that's going to be what I'm going to be working on for the remainder of the week. And then after that, I went shopping. I'm going to do that for this week, probably the next week, until my closet is where I want it to be. So that is day 72. It was quite full, and I will see you all tomorrow. With allergies, my tonsils are still swollen, my voice is still gone, headed for a tonsillectomy at this rate. But we push on. It is day 73 of 20. Started today off with system design, going through Dropbox and focusing specifically on REST APIs and designing those. Didn't really do too much in that area, mostly just researched how API routes are named and constructed. So that's probably what I'll be doing tomorrow as well, and the day after that. After that, I applied to 4 jobs today, and then I had class, gym, went shopping, and I think I am all done getting pieces for the business casual wardrobe. So that's really awesome. After that, another class, and then I did not do a DSA, but I did a coding challenge from Dropbox. It was a gaming coding challenge, and that kind of is going to substitute as my DSA for today. And then after that, I want to spend maybe half an hour getting into the MVP a little bit tonight, looking at some of the different ways that I can architect this backend. I went through some AI workflow videos yesterday showing how to have the AI target certain files, and also asking the AI to give multiple approaches to solve a problem. So just trying to pick up little bits and pieces of AI workflow tips as I go, and not try to do it all at once. But that is day 73, and hopefully I'll get to more things tomorrow with a little bit less class, and hopefully my energy levels will be a little bit better too, less allergies. But anyway, I will see you all tomorrow on day 74. First assessment that I've successfully completed, so really happy about that. It is day 74 of 20. Started today off with system design, going through more REST API design and understanding, and overview, comparing it with GraphQL and how that works. After 15 minutes of that, I got into a coding challenge that was passed through the Dropbox talent community. I did not finish it, but I got a decent way through it. After that, I got into job apps, and I got through 6 job apps in total. And then I had a class, and then another class, and then after that, I did another coding assessment for another job application, which was an hour and a half, and that was manipulating text strings, so palindromes, and then it was a circular array, and then it was looking for text strings inside of another string. And that was the first assessment that I've successfully completed, so really happy about that. I don't know if I'll turn it into a job, but it's just good to see the DSA practice paying off. After that, basically what I'm working on right now is working on MVP. I'm still working on the backend, basically trying to take this data from a child component, pass it to a parent component, pass that to a server action function, and then that gets sent off to an API and a service, workers, things like that. So I'm trying to understand more of forward refs, which have been deprecated. Now they're just replaced by passing refs directly, and then use imperative handle or something like that. So I'm basically just using AI and Google to understand it better. AI has written the code. I'm just trying to understand what it's doing and if it's the best way to do it. I'll probably do a little bit more of that tonight, but that's basically the whole day. I definitely left out some stuff, and I'll put it on the screen or mention it tomorrow, but that is day 74, and I will see you all tomorrow. Today was so long. It is currently 12 a.m. and still did not get to everything that I wanted to get to. It is day 75 of 20. My allergies are still crazy. woke up absolutely exhausted. But we started off with DSA, a live session, and we went through tree order traversals for a newer student. After that, did system design for 15 minutes, going through API root naming, and then working on the Dropbox system design problem, looking at file service and routing to metadata and blobs with Amazon, like S3 or Azure or something like that. After that, I think I had class and the gym, and basically life happened for most of the day. After all that was finished up, about 4 hours of class in total, I got into job apps and I set off 7 job apps in total, which I'm really proud of. And then I finished today off with assistant or DSA, trying to my second attempt at threesome. Still did not get it, and that basically wrapped everything up. Did not get to MVP, which means I'm gonna have to work tomorrow and probably Saturday. I really want to get that done this week. I'm probably leaving things out because I'm slightly delirious, but that's day 75, the end of week 15, and I will see you all next week. Over the weekend, I'm potentially going to go to a networking event tomorrow morning, and then be in office tomorrow, and then doing more MVP work on Saturday, but I'm really going to try and relax this weekend because I feel like I've been doing too much for too long. But that's week 15, and I will see you all on Sunday. Allergies finally slowed down. Tonsils are still swollen. May still need surgery. We'll see. One day at a time. It is day 76 of 20. Over the weekend, I did absolutely nothing. I think it was well deserved. Skipped the networking event due to the allergies, and did no work on the MVP, also due to the allergies. But today started off strong. Jumped right into an assessment, a take-home project for a job application that I got last week. So I spent most of today getting into what ORMs are, and Prisma, and Nest.js and how that works. And I should finish that probably tomorrow morning. It's only a 45-minute to 60-minute exercise, but I kind of just wanted to dig into the code base and use it as a way to practice backend. I had a bunch of classes today, like 3 hours worth of class, and then after that I got into DSA and I worked through a LeetCode on trees. Then I took another look at threesome and kind of did a passive copying of the solution on that one. Honestly, that solution seems just a little bit too long, I don't know, excessive for something you'd see in like a job interview. After that, I did system design, 15 minutes, as always, getting into more of the design Dropbox, specifically how metadata and blobs are separated by a file service on the server. And I learned about services as I was going through the take-home assignment with ORMs and things like that, so they're all kind of like connected together. After that, I went through 6 job apps, and that basically brings me to right now, which is 10:30 p.m. I don't think there's anything else to do, so that's day 76. Tomorrow's going to be pretty light, so I'm going to try to get through the rest of that assessment and then get into the MVP as soon as possible because that has been pushed off for way too long. I think I'm going to start doing the MVP at the beginning of the day and doing the other things after. There are some other things I wanted to talk about, but I will remember them hopefully and then talk about them tomorrow. Anyway, that's day 76. I'll see you all tomorrow. At this rate, it's going to be a tonsillectomy vlog and not a job search vlog. But hopefully, fingers crossed, this thing will resolve soon. It's day 77 of 20. Started today off with system design, going through Dropbox, working on syncing files up to the database and pulling synced changes down from the database, and then looking at pulling the backend apart, the API gateway and the file sync structure and file services. And that was 15 minutes. After that, spent most of the day in the doctor's office trying to figure out this tonsil thing. At this rate, it's going to be a tonsillectomy vlog and not a job search vlog. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this thing will resolve soon. After a bunch of little things like that in classes, I got into, I want to say DSA. I did a little bit of job searching while I was at the doctor's office, and I applied to 5 jobs in total, and then I did DSA after that. looking more at the tree problem for LeetCode, and looking at a recursive function that calls another recursive function. So it's LeetCode easy, but it's actually taking a lot of work to diagram out and understand. After that, I got into the MVP, and that's what I'm working on right now. Still on the client-side component, still trying to pull apart this really dense block of code that AI wrote to have a parent component reach into a child component and have it capture an image, change it to a data URL, which gets sent to the backend. So I'm rewriting that code to clean it up, and then also trying to understand it, asking questions about the code, and I need to move a little bit faster because I'm quite behind on this. But that is day 77. I'm probably forgetting things as usual, and if so, I'll put them on the screen, and I will see you all tomorrow. Best of all, what I'm most excited about is I have two interviews next week. So it is day 78 of 20. Today was quite long. It is 1:30 a.m. Kind of my fault, but today started off with a visit to the doctor's office. And Kaiser's on strike, so that was like an hour and a half, plus waiting to get medication for the tonsils that are still swollen. But that's handled. They seem to be getting better, so hopefully that continues and I will have more energy moving forward. After that, had 3 classes and went out to get drinks and get away from work for just a little bit. And so basically all of the coding job prep stuff happened after 9 p.m. I got to part of the live DSA session today, and they were going through tree traversals vertical. And so I was there for part of the session to see the solution, but I did not actually do any coding during the session. So I'm going to work on that problem tomorrow. I spent the last session going through subtree problem, looking at the case for a prefix tree, and that just really thinking about it, diagramming it out. After that, I got into system design, and I'm almost done with the Dropbox example. Today I was going through uploading files larger than 50 gigabytes using file blocks and hashes and things like that, which was really interesting and cool to learn about. After that, I just kind of got into a job application workflow and just kept going. I think 8 job applications. There was still more to apply to. I think I'm getting really good at finding jobs that match my skill set and then tailoring customer responses really fast, so that's really cool. Best of all, what I'm most excited about is I have two interviews next week. So people are hiring in January and February, which is really cool, and I hope both of those go really well. I'm really excited about them. I still need to do a little bit of MVP work. I did some last night, and I finally understand use imperative handles, how they're basically handled into the child component for the parent component. So I'm going to do a little bit more reading on that tonight, and then tomorrow I really want to build like right away. The very first thing I do is work on MVP. But that is day 78. It's quite interesting, quite long, but I'm going to do a little bit more work, and then I will see you all tomorrow morning, or today. Day 79 of 20. I started today off with system design, as always, in 15 minutes. I wrapped up Dropbox by going through how to optimize bandwidth use. After that, I got into a local delivery service, and I went through the non-functional requirements, the core entities, and then API routes, naming, design. After that, I jumped right into DSA, going through vertical traversals of trees, which I mentioned yesterday, and that was LeetCode 3.14. That was not too bad. It took about an hour. Basically, I used it as a way to review VFS on trees, level order traversal, and then realized that I didn't even need to use that mostly. But after that, I got into 3 job apps. I'm going to try to send off 2 more to hit my quota, daily quota of 5. And then mid part of the day was classes and other things. And then maybe an hour or 2 ago, I got into the MVP finally and finished wrapping up with imperative handle and got to actually building out the backend microservice built in Express and using Puppeteer and Docker as well, once that is going to be hosted and scaled. And once I built it, or had generated it, I went through and started cleaning up all that boilerplate. Things like the API root naming was not following conventions, the actual PDF template was off, and so small basically changes like that. And I want to be looking into that more, especially I want to look at Docker. And what I want to do by the end of this week is to kind of stress test that whole microservice to make sure it can actually handle PDF loads, that it's optimized. And then that's going to wrap up this week, and also this 4-week sprint, which has felt more like a 4-week crawl. But anyway, That is day 79, and I will see you all tomorrow for the last day of these 4 weeks. It's day 80 of 20, the end of the first 4 months, which is really hard to believe. Started today off with DSA going through a live session with one other dev doing LeetCode 139 from Blind 75, and looked pretty easy to start out, but ended up being a dynamic programming problem, kind of similar to CoinChange. We got through about half of it. We'll probably finish it next week. So I have 2 questions that I need to do. I need to do 3-sum and now this other LeetCode question. After that, got into building the MVP. Just jumped straight into that basically, and spent the first part of the day just doing the system design for that. So it's going from what used to be a really simple PDF generator now to basically a full asynchronous task queue, all hosted in the cloud. And so that's going to be Supabase to the task queue, which is Upstash, which goes to Google Run Cloud, which is an instance of Node Express, and then that's going to be stored in cloud storage, maybe S3 with Amazon or Google Cloud, and then that's going back to Supabase to notify the front end. So all of that's going to happen, and then there's going to be observability. There are, again, paid services to do this, but I'm doing it mostly for my own curiosity and also to see if we want to scale later, how much code that's going to be and how much maintenance that's going to be. So that was basically most of the day. Later in the evening, I got into 5 job apps, and then that was everything for today, I believe. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, I didn't do my usual system design because I did most of that for the MVP today. Later tonight, I might do a little bit more of the MVP, and that will wrap up day 80. I will see you all tomorrow for the 4-month recap, and yeah. It has been 4 months of job searching. Here's all the takeaways. 114 job applications, almost double the last 4 weeks, which was 60. 29 rejections, so more applications, more rejections. 1 coffee chat, 5 networking events, 1 of which I co-hosted. 24 new LinkedIn connections, which has stayed about stable since the second 4 weeks. 0 interviews, but I have 2 next week, which I'm really excited about. 0 recruiters reached out this 4 weeks. What went well? DSA skills are still in maintenance mode. They're growing, but a little bit more slowly. I didn't want to spend as much time there because probably not going to be as important unless I go to FANG. System design skills, I'm now actively practicing, which is really fun, really cool to see how the internet works. Distributed systems, stateless servers, load balancers, all that stuff. I'm actually now building using those technologies. So what I'm learning in system design is actually directly being applied, which is really cool. And I talked about that this week. TypeScript skills are growing. Next.js skills are growing. React skills are growing. Just got into Supabase and Docker and some cloud services on Google. So it's been really fun just learning all this new stuff. AI workflow, I use Copilot in VS Code, and I basically write all my code using AI. I have it do commits for me, update documentation, push issues to GitHub, like everything basically is AI. And I think that's going to be the future, honestly. Things that did not go well this 4 weeks, I did 0 behavioral prep, and maybe I'll regret that when I have my interviews next week. But I really wanted to build experience in writing code and doing system design and having those technical skills and working on teams. And then I feel like behavioral prep questions are mostly about, tell me about a time when you did X. So I want that experience more than I want to practice those questions. But I need to do both, honestly. But I'm kind of doing a spray and pray. Just send out as many resumes as possible. My resume application sending abilities are really solid. I can do that really fast with AI again, helping me take my crafted responses and clean them up and make them sound like me, and they're punchy and bold and sell myself really well. Sending out a lot of job applications really helps you sell yourself, which is a really great skill to have. It's not just a job search, it's upskilling. So I'm like building out all of my skills across the entire stack. And so that's kind of one of the reasons why this last 4 weeks has been so intense. It's been job searching, it's been DSA, it's been system design, it's been building projects and networking and hosting networking events. So it's really intense. I think this is where I'm going to stay for the rest of the job search at this level of intensity. And I think something should happen pretty soon. Last 2 things is that I feel like I now know basically every company in the city that I live in, Los Angeles, that is hiring developers in my tech stack, because I've sent out so many job applications. And the last thing is that all my interviews that I've gotten have been from cold applies. So the networking hasn't technically really helped that much, which is interesting. Anyway, that's been the first 4 months, and I will see you all in week 17.